Coming at you live from beautiful DNHQ, etc., because it is beautiful now in beautiful also South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Happy Podcast.
And everything is beautiful.
Hell yeah. What is going on, Dodgers fans all around? What is going on, Dodgers Nation? We have baseball again almost. My name is Clint. You can find me as RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram.
My name is Brook. You can find me at BrookMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, the only thing we're talking about is that baseball is back. There's a lot of things that go with it, so we're going to talk about them. First and foremost, we're going to talk about baseball actually coming back. We're going to crack a few beers. We're going to talk about some of the rules that are coming with it because, it is not the same game, you know. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And what else are we going to talk about? We got a few things going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the rules. I think we can I have a few already sort of prepared, but they're not really mine. But some things that we could change or we would like to change or just whatever, you know.
Like about myself?
Sure. If you want to treat this as therapy, my man, that is all on you.
Sore subject.
We also just got off the phone with our buddy, our pal, Mr. Ross Stripling a little while ago, and we got some clips we're going to mix in. The full video will be on our YouTube channel on Thursday. That's youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. So while you're there, why not give us a follow, mash that notification bell, and you could always see that beautiful mustache in your inbox.
We know it's what you want.
Also, while you're at it, subscribe to our podcast. We are on all the podcast spots. Thank you. So let's dig into some of the games here. Or some of the games. I saw games. Dig into some of the comments here. Roach says, what's better than a Blue Heaven podcast? Two Blue Heaven podcasts in the same weeks. Thank you, Mr. Roach.
Katie says, the greatest news we could ask for. I understood that. We could ask for, but I understand. It is the greatest news that we could ask for because we can't ask for much lately. Can't ask for much lately.
I did say it was going to be you suggested a drinking show.
I did.
So, you know, this is the sound. This is the sound.
Doesn't have the same allure of a beer cracking.
That's the sound of Jack.
While that man gets drunk, Leslie on Facebook says Brook can't shave his mustache until the Dodgers win their first game of the season. And that's a conversation worth having at some point because we got to figure this out because baseball's back, but it's kind of back, but it's not really back, but we're almost back.
Somebody had a really good point about that on the internet. I forgot who it was, but they said that if they do win one game and you still have the mustache, now you have to keep it the whole season because of superstitions, not just regular stitions.
Super. I'm not superstitious.
Yeah.
I'm a little stitious.
Jess is in the stream. What's going on, Jess? Cheers.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the mustache now. Now I'm considering that we might have to. I didn't see where it went, but somebody said I have to shave it off on the show today, right now.
Oh, I saw that's pretty early.
Yeah, we're not doing that because that sounds dangerous. Oh, that's Santiago. Okay, yeah, Santiago. Come on, man. I'm not gonna die on camera.
I don't have a sharp enough blade for that. Tim is in the stream. SD Dodger Tim Rogers, what's going on, buddy? He says, honestly, I think it's my favorite hashtag, which is ITFDB. It's time for Dodger baseball.
It's been a while since I've seen that hashtag.
I know.
From anybody, even jokingly. Hatfield says, ladies, Hatfield, good to see you.
Cheers, Hatfield. Thinking about the stupid little shit that we were all upset about, like before the season, like the new Dodgers hashtag this year is it's an LA thing, which is, I mean, let's be real, it's whack. But
I forgot about it.
God damn, am I going to be happy to see that on every little bit of media that Sue and the gang put out there.
Look, I'll take what I can get right now, but it doesn't matter what it is. I'm just happy that baseball's back. Dan says, chick named Brooke has a stash. Got me, Dan. Boom, boom, bang, bang. Got me.
If you should check his Twitter, it says also he is a dude. It says
I'm a dude. I mean, it's verified. I don't know what to tell you.
Sports from Coast to Coast threw a perfect game against the Astros in MVP Baseball 2005. Does Sports from Coast to Coast
That's a good game.
Extra credit.
That's a solid game.
I think that's
you like
voted.
04, don't you?
I'm an 04 kind of gal, but I'm an older soul just like that. Anyway, guys, they say baseball is back. We were going to do this show yesterday, but we figured why just stumble through and not have all the details that constitute this season coming back. There's a lot of weird rules, and it took people smarter than us and with longer attention spans to read through and figure out all those rules. what Ross said, it's a 110-page document.
It's a long document. It's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of CYA, I'm assuming, on that particular rules or health concern thing. Anyways, there's a lot of changes. It's going to be weird, and right off the bat, I guess we can get into, like I said, we do have a few clips ready to mix in of our of our conversation with Mr. Ross Stripling. And right off the bat, we got to just ask him, how do you feel about your job coming back? Man, how stoked are you to be finally getting back to work?
Yeah, so excited. I mean, gosh, I remember when all this went down in the middle of March. At first, they were saying like a couple weeks and then we'll reevaluate. And here we are 3 months later, finally with something on the books talking about baseball late July. So, everyone's used to being, almost 80 games into a season right now, so a lot of adrenaline and competitive energy that guys are waiting to unleash on each other. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know over here we hit a few different points of where we were pretty convinced that the season was going to get called off. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions for us, but was there any point where you were like, man, we might not have baseball this year?
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, man, those doubts are still in your mind. The coronavirus is a scary thing, and we have all the health and safety protocols in line that we could possibly have. But, if guys start getting sick, staff, players, whoever it is, things are going to be tough to keep it going with the travel and how much we're around each other. So obviously that's still a big hurdle. But, I was always confident that we would be able to at least come together and make baseball happen. It's too important to put baseball on the field and give sports fans, baseball fans, something to look forward to with, what's going on in our nation right now. So I always felt at least, 90+% confident that there would be a season of some sort.
So if we're looking at 90+, which feels like a lie to me a little bit, TBH, but we went through a solid, how long did it go on back and forth? Like 6 weeks, something like that? We're looking at least the last 2.5, 3 weeks of just perpetual nightmare fuel, and kind of mostly assuming baseball wasn't possibly going to come back.
It was like this. Like you were like 100% certain baseball was coming back.
Those on the podcast.
0%. 0%. Like it was just all over the place. Like I saw a bunch of people doing it, but like every single day they'd be like, today I'm feeling good about baseball. Today I'm not feeling good about baseball. And that's how it was. You'd wake up on any given day and say 95% sure that baseball's coming back. And the very next day, or even at some point that same day, you might be like, it's now down to 5%. I'm pretty sure baseball's not coming back. Life is hell. What are we doing?
Yeah. And like he said, the most important thing, and we'll get into that part of it a little bit later in the show, that the fact that the matter is, there is still a pandemic, even if it was hidden or suppressed or whatever it is. People are coming up positive for this thing that has ruined our day-to-day life, and a lot of people don't really want to acknowledge it as truth. To each their own, I guess. That's on you, whatever you decide to do, and if you want to put your family and everybody else in danger, just please stay away from me, ideally. But baseball first here, we got a lot of rules, a lot of changes, and purists are not going to be happy. I'm not necessarily happy.
I don't think baseball purists have been happy for the past like 10 years, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Well, we've seen Aubrey Huff. He's not happy about baseball and
he's
analytics.
He's a different kind of purist.
Ooh, rest in peace to Aubrey Huff, but also not rest in hell. But some of the notable rules, and to lead off, the dates are that we are recording this on Wednesday, the 24th of June. So in exactly 1 week, it will be July 1st, which Major League Baseball players will have to be reporting to their camps wherever.
That's our new Independence Day.
Yeah, for real. So that's going to happen, and then the season starts on July 23rd and 24th. But the big ones, but the big ones, it's only a 60-game season officially. Teams are going to play 10 games against their divisional opponent. But what we're seeing, and I stole a lot of these from ESPN last night, I think there's still a little bit of question mark about that 4 games versus opposite league
Yeah,
divisional
they're
opponents?
playing their geographical equivalents, but I think from what I've seen, Major League Baseball wants to cut down travel as much as possible. So closer teams will play a little bit more, while further teams probably won't. So you're probably going to see, instead of 4 games against the Angels with the Dodgers, you might see 6 games and maybe 2 games versus the Rangers, 2 games against the Astros on one road trip or some crap like that.
And that scares me a little bit because we play like shit against the Angels.
We are bad against the Angels. That's an 0-6 record right there. Just chalk up those 6 losses to start the year.
And they got Professor Hollywood Lifestyle over there at third base.
Cheersies.
Other parts of this, there will be a 30-man roster for the first 2 weeks of the season. It will be pared down to a 28-man roster for the next 2 weeks, and then 26-man for the rest of the season, as was planned this season. The universal DH apparently was something we didn't. It seemed like that was going to go away.
It was part of the deal, and then we were like, oh, it's not going to be part of the deal. And then they're like, yes, it is part of the deal. So there it's back.
So
you also get a separate injured list for the players who do contract COVID, which is going to be a whole complicated thing in itself because there's no designated time for it. They do have protocols for testing players and making sure that they can come back. If they do 2 positive tests, the doctor has to clear you. It's a whole thing. On top of that, trade deadline of August 31st rather than July 31st, which is going to change things up a little bit. It's
a little bit of a throwback.
You're kind of unclear on how much trade. It's either there's going to be a lot of trading going on or no trading at all. And even so, when a player gets traded, what's the process look like in terms of health protocols? Like, is there a period of time where they have to sit out games to make sure that they've been around a whole other group of people and now you're in a new group of people? So there's a whole thing there too.
Yeah. Before we get into more of the rules, I mean, because the rest of them are some are questionable, some are going to be hard to enforce. But the trade deadline, that's one thing we know. There's going to be a lot more teams that do feel they're in it, but some of those teams might not actually want to be in it, so they might still sell off, people like Pittsburgh or whomever, Cincinnati, even though they think Cincinnati's trying, people
to win.
Yeah, I think they were trying when they did that big trade, but I don't think anybody in Ohio knows what they're doing these days.
They got the flying under the radar thing from a lot of big baseball names where they're like, hey, Reds have an outside chance, guys. Reds have an outside, about the same chance as the Blue Jays, I guess. I don't know if the Blue Jays are even allowed to play baseball this year.
Was it? Did we do something on it where we liberated somebody's tweet about what? No, that was the worst 60-game span for each team last year, which the Dodgers had the best record in their worst 60-game stretch. But one thing that brings, and this was kind of the concern with the shorter season. Obviously, the Dodgers, and this is off topic. This is a different subject now, but
going off topic.
One thing we know about the Los Angeles Dodgers and this 7 straight division title run is that they are able to do that because of girthy depth that they have. There's a lot of players. I'm just about, Edwin Rios is there, etc. But they're able to survive, outlast a lot of other teams that might start hot. Example, like last year, you remember when the Padres were hot and everybody was like, wow, this is a great team, and you got destroyed. You got squawked at by Padres Twitter for pointing out stats for their air quote ace, but
their god Chris Paddock.
Their god Chris Paddock. Everything gets a lot closer in these divisions now because of this shorter season, which does potentially alter the path of this trade deadline. You could see the Padres, for example. We'll stick with them. I think it's going to be the Padres and maybe Arizona. I don't think San Francisco is going to do very much, even if they decide to go out and get Yasiel Puig, which it sounds like they're going to do. Words. I think I lost my train of thought on that, but
you got to start strong.
Yeah,
you got to start strong, and depth's going to play a little less into this year than in years past, but also a little more. It's a little strange. If you're playing 60 games in 66 days, which I think is what it comes out to when we looked at the math. 60 games in 66 days, a lot of freaking games. And on top of that, you stack in the possibility of it does tend to rain, and there tends to be weather around the United States. You're going to get a lot of teams that are going to end up playing doubleheaders. That's why they didn't factor in doubleheaders into this, because they knew, like, if we factor in doubleheaders and then there's rainouts and delays, we still have to play said doubleheaders, and then you're going to have triple headers. What are you going to do? How are you going to finish out the season? So if they want to
Quadruple
get done
headers.
by the date that they want to get done, it's gonna be a freaking stretch. It's a dead sprint, and it's like a longer sprint that you can never imagine. It's not a marathon. It's a little different, but
Yeah.
it is a sprint, and you got to start fast. And there's very little room for error to start. And I mean, to say that the Dodgers start slow historically would be accurate.
Yeah.
Ish, accurate enough. And you know, we have problems with our own division, and that's the thing that really scares me, because we do have a lot of problems with our own division.
We're playing a lot more teams, especially if we're playing Anaheim. We're playing a lot more teams we tend to struggle against for no
rhyme or reason.
No rhyme or reason. Those are the lyrics. But Roach points out, I think we already kind of said it, Dodgers do tend to get off to a slow start, but there won't be an April this year, and they tend to play bad in April.
That's
sort
true.
of. You know, JT,
Not a big Easter team.
JT won't
Die.
He won't be hurting and broken and trying to get into the rhythm of things. And there is going to be the DH. And, you know, I was kind of looking at, we were sort of putting together some ideas for what is the lineup going to look like now with the DH, because it really does bring a whole new complexion to this team.
It looks powerful.
Is Pollock going to be in there against righties or lefties at the DH? Is Peterson going to be, you know, a DH, as they like to call it? Is he going to be hitter only?
Are they going to let him live?
They're going to let him live. They're going to trade him to Anaheim. But there's also somebody like JT who could really take advantage of that and his declining defensive metrics. Shout out once again to Aubrey Huff, who probably loves defensive metrics. There is a lot of wiggle room for this team. So while they do tend to get off to that slower start, they are probably the team that would benefit the most of any team in all of baseball from the added designated hitter. Like we've said a few times, if you want a straight stick, you got Matt Beatty. If you want a bopper, you can mix in Edwin Rios. Russell Martin's probably coming back. That's somebody who you could throw in there and you know, get a little bit of something out of. Whatever it is, you know, even throwing him at third base or something like that. There's a lot of options. Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez. There are so many different great options for this team that will come from this DH, and that might help offset that notorious slow starter thing.
I hope so. I mean, there's definitely an opportunity to. It's going to be I mean, let's be real about it. The Dodgers' home run power and their bop just in general over the past couple of years is ridiculous. It's off the charts, but you start getting regular at bats in for like guys like Edwin Rios, who Perez, he just jumped in on Twitch and he was talking about Edwin Rios when he saw him in Miami. The dude has ridiculous power.
Yeah.
And that guy, that's going to be a guy who's like a 30 home run a year guy one day when he gets a full-time starting gig somewhere else.
That was me.
Professional set. When he gets a full-time starting gig somewhere else and actually gets to play real baseball, he's going to crush the freaking ball. I rewatched a home run that he hit in San Diego last year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think that what they used to say is prodigious power.
The ball does not travel very well in San Diego,
No.
for you guys who don't know that. And that thing was way gone. Like that would have probably cleared that might have come close to clearing the right field bleachers at Dodger Stadium. So you start looking at that. You start looking at all the power that's in the minor league system right now. Suddenly, you're getting DJ Peters at bats somehow during a season, and you start talking about big freaking dudes who can hit the ball a long way, and you're like, you get really excited, and you get to take away the bat from a couple guys that you don't maybe want in the lineup every single day, possibly. And on top of that, and this is something that you and I talked about, there is the possibility that AJ Pollock doesn't play this year. There is a possibility, and with that in mind, I think it almost helps the line helps you make decisions on a lineup. It complicates it a little bit less. He does have a daughter who was just born prematurely, so if he chose to sit out the season, personally, I'd be like 100%. That's okay. Do it. That's for the best of your family. I support
there's
it.
no way in hell, and it's not just because Dodger fans aren't overly excited about AJ Pollock as a Dodger, because he didn't have the most glorious first season in LA.
Yep.
But if he gets like the treatment Avery Bradley is getting or something like that would just be that's trash. You know, these people, they're not doing it because they just don't want to play or whatever. Like you have to think about the health and safety of your family and yourself and all that kind of stuff. It wouldn't be the situation like Joe Kelly, who went on yet another Boston-based program because apparently he only does Boston-based media appearances.
Because we're mean to him here.
Well, people really are mean to him, but he's kind of earned it, and you could sort of maybe get on some shows, even with Dave Vassay being like, "Hey Joe, do you hate me? Why do you hate me, Joe Kelly? I'm on the phone now with Joe Kelly. Let's take some calls."
You're from Corona, right? Shut up, Dave.
Shout out Dave Vassay, nice kid, friend of the show. But yeah, well, his thing, Joe Kelly's thing, was that his wife wanted him to stay home. They just had twins. There's all that. There's a good enough reason, I would say, but he feels still the pull, even if he doesn't necessarily want to do it for the fans. He feels the pull from the clubhouse, and that's something you were talking about. Like, as a baseball player, you understand that. You understand the pull, the allure of wanting to not let your team down.
Yeah, I mean, these are guys that you go to war with every single day.
Wins above replacement.
Yep, you go to wins above replacement every day. You see these guys every day. You're a part of the grind together every single day. You all have the same goal in common at the end of the year. So to look at that, and I think it's tough when it's a little less tough when you're like, we're not a championship team. It might be a little less tough. Like, we're going to win some games this year, but we're not a championship team. But when you're like the Dodgers and you're sitting on in the 1988 as your last World Series win, and you're looking at a team that has Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger in your outfield and a ridiculous starting rotation and stacked top to bottom, you look at that and you're like, this is a team that probably should win the World Series this year. And so for me to sit out is a really tough thing to do, because maybe these players don't push it on you. Maybe they're very supportive. I'm sure they very much so are, but you can't help it but in the back of your mind be like, I know they want me to play. Maybe I should play. I should be there. I should play. That's what Joe Kelly said. David Price didn't call him and say like, "Hey, you got to play this season," but he said, "I know that David Price will call me and say I got to play this season, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this season." David Price might be at home and be like, "Oh, I don't care."
Yeah, for real. I got to shout out a couple of trolls, longtime friends of the show. We got Perez 1619 and Roach in the stream, both at the same time saying Jock is our first baseman. Let's try Jock at 1B again, just one more time, dude. I'm gonna ban you guys for 5 minutes
from my life.
From my life. That's just rude. You guys know how. So, anyways, on the idea of DH talk, there's the other side of it too, which was more the side we kind of went into with our boy Ross Stripling. There's in the National League, obviously, there's less figuring things out. There's less trying to play. Okay, well, his thing, and we're gonna get his analogy right now, but not analogy, but situation. Which, I got the bases loaded, but there's 2 out and the pitcher's coming up, and I look at that and I'm like, hell yeah, all right, I can kind of exhale and get this out. So there is going to be that change, that game planning change, and you kind of wonder if that's going to help or hurt Dave Roberts as a longtime National League guy. Different show, different day. I don't know.
I got opinions on that. We'll talk about that next week.
But this is a bit about what Mr. Rostifer had to say about the DH and more.
And so, I mean, with these rule changes, there's a lot of them that we got to talk about. A couple of them apply to you, one of those being the designated hitter. So with that in mind, we got to talk about the Ross Stripling batting average again. Does that mean you're officially hanging up that .093 batting average for good? Is this it? Is this where it ends for you?
I hope not, man. I hope I get one more chance in there somewhere. I don't know if it'll be, later on down the road when DH is still implemented, but maybe it's like a 16-inning game and there's no one left. I have a chance to get it up over 100. I've always said I like the DH because it creates parity between the two leagues, and I like pitching to the pitcher. I don't necessarily enjoy hitting, but there's been countless times where I've got a guy on third and one out and the pitcher up, and I tell you what, that's a good feeling. But having the DH, people don't pay to come watch me hit, and there's been a bunch of pitchers, Adam Wainwright, my new teammate Jimmy Nelson, come to mind as guys that missed entire seasons, if not more, because of things they injured from hitting or running the bases. So it makes sense, get the best hitters up there. You'd rather watch David Ortiz than me hit any day. But I have always enjoyed, like I said, the just parity it creates between both the National and American League.
I will say that I have paid to go to a game to watch Rich Hill hit. So with that in mind.
Yeah, but he was a special human. There's no one that can do that.
Shout out Richie Hill. Hope you're doing good, bud.
What's up?
But he brings up some good points there. The other side of the coin, which is gonna hurt Dodger pitching a little bit, a good bit maybe. But I don't know, like, who are the elite DHs in this league, or that, especially in the NL West, which it seems like that's where it's all gonna come from. or all of our games.
I guess in Arizona you get like what's that kid's name? Christian Walker. Like he's a thumper that's out there that's probably gonna get more at bats because of it. But other than that, like you don't have a National League West that's super prepared for the DH. Like no one's really ready for it yet. Except the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers have like 6 DHs that could be in their lineup every single day. So you look at that and you're like, the Dodgers definitely have the edge there. The Padres, maybe I guess Josh Naylor doesn't have to go in the field, and that's a benefit for them. I guess I don't really know what else.
Yeah, I mean there are a few of them. I'm pretty sure the Padres wish they didn't trade away that one dude that went to
the Indians.
Yeah, Indians. What's his name? The guy with the face.
Yeah, big dude.
Francis somebody. You know the guy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He thumped like 35 home runs last year.
Yeah, he's a dinger or a dunker.
We get a couple. I'm going to jump back into the comments a little bit. You know, whenever people don't have a username, they have like an emoji or something. Really hard to call on you. Really hard. But somebody with the this guy emoji says, "Where'd you guys get that bobblehead display?" You really got to watch all the shows to know.
We just picked it up last week.
You can go to Instagram. It's what's it called? Homeplate _designs.
Our boy JR helped make that fine display, and I think it really brings out the hue of Brook's mustache,
and it fits hella bobbleheads.
Hella.
I don't know how many, but hella
you can't even see all of them on the screen. We got to probably take a better picture of that.
Probably. Swag Daddy McGee over on Twitch, classic friend of the show, says Brook's mustache could manage an AL team by itself, and that is a fact. It is very easy to manage an AL team. Plus, I kind of look like a manager.
It's
a little manager-ish.
Yeah, I can give you like that 90s manager.
Yeah, or like substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm. Like if Davey Lopes was still managing the Brewers.
Now we're talking.
Call back. Manuel Hernandez asks on YouTube, is it officially official? Or it's officially official, right? Like we can enjoy watching Dodgers baseball again? Yes. Like by agreement, by signed paperwork, it is official. The season, the spring training 2.0 will be on July 1. And July 23rd or 24th will be the new opening day. But of course, there's a long gate in between. There's some strides we got to make. Like that kind of gate.
There's a lot that's going to happen between now and next week.
Facebook, Danny Gonzalez brings up a fantastic point. I think we did think about, but I completely forgot about it right now. So sad Mookie won't be able to experience the LA crowd vibe, which, I mean, I guess he kind of did in the World Series, but not for him. It was against him. So
Tim Rogers and Jack over on Periscope say Fran Mil Reyes. That's who we were talking
about.
Fran
Mil was
a bopper.
That's all I got.
I don't know what trade he went in, but yeah, he was there. And he was with Puig at the same time. I think they got both of them around the same time. So
Jess wants our autographs. No.
I don't know how to write. Cammy over on Facebook says, "Hi guys." Hi.
Ricky Bobby Churrillo likes the Dick Mountain shout out. Also, shrug emoji wants JT for DH, which I don't know. I mean, maybe at this time, if he's getting half of his starts at DH, that might be.
They're going to get him out of the field a little bit. They're going to give him some more rest days. I think that's how Doc said today they're going to use the DH.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to hear that interview.
He was like, yeah, we're going to use it as an opportunity to rest JT, which I think means like JT's bat's going to be in every single day, but his glove might not be in every day, which honestly, the most ideal because his defense, right now, I mean, if you guys want to look at his defense on Fangraphs, it's going downhill quickly. Katie brings up a good point. She says, how much is MLB TV going to charge? It's for less than a half season is more. I mean, how much are they charging? Like it's 60 games, so it's technically less than a half season.
How much blood do you have?
Are they just going to be like, what would be the average per game and then just prorate it? Because prorating's a thing right now, so we got to talk about that. On top, you know what? It'd be a good move. MLB TV, just do it for free. The best thing you could do for baseball right now to keep fans is to give it away for free. Someone call Rob.
Fantastic idea. But they're also trying to make up the money somewhere.
Yeah, make up the money from MLB TV. We just steal it anyways. I mean, we don't steal it. No, we've never stolen. We don't pirate. We don't go to Dodgers Reddit and MLB live streams on Reddit.
Anyway, of other stuff, the rest of the stuff on that rules list that I put on this particular button with a Z at the end, we see also the big ones of this particular one we didn't mention yet, which is the extra inning rule. Runner starts at second base in the 10th inning of a tie. And that rule would not apply in the postseason. I want to get into that into the next section of the show where we kind of or a little bit later in the show where we talk about things we would fix.
We get angry.
Where we get angry again. I mean, even I don't know. Are we being happy? I don't know.
I'm
never
happy.
know
I mean,
happy.
they could have told me anything and I'd be happy right now, as long as we're playing.
But the big ones is there's no tongue stuff. There's no licking each other, and pitchers get the rag. They get to have a wet rag, I should say.
Not very much context anywhere there.
There's also no high fives, no fist bumps, or no hugs, which is one of the things we did forget to bring up to Ross Stripling. It's like, okay, if you guys do go out and win this 60-game season World Series, how do you celebrate?
No butt slaps?
I know, right?
It's not American.
Kike's fine ass and those tight pants. What is the world coming to?
No slaps? Yeah.
Get Rob Manfred.
If you've watched the KBO, I don't know if you guys have. It's not very entertaining.
I don't know.
But if you did watch the KBO, home runs were very awkward because people would go to and then they'd be like, oh, yeah, let's just, yay.
Like baseball is... It's such a game of routine. You're so used to, I immediately start spitting.
Oh yeah,
like
I walk onto a field and I spit.
Yeah.
It's not even like I have to spit.
It's spit and you adjust your nutsack. These are just the rules of the game.
I don't know how you break that. I also don't know how you police that personally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're counting on the social policing, players like, hey man, don't spit.
What did I think it was Jeff Passan who said spit suspensions?
Spit suspensions. See some fines, spines.
I said that earlier, Roach. I said bring back the bubble machine for home runs, but you got to figure that's got to be the spread of something.
Bring back the home run statue in Miami. Stupid ass home run statue.
Yeah. Mess them up. There's gonna be no butt slaps and even elbows. Like they're probably not gonna be allowed to elbow each other or whatever. But I think of all of those rules, like the position players can probably, get over it. The position players can adjust, but I think pitchers are such creatures of habit.
You zone out. If you've ever been on the mound, you definitely zone out. You're not thinking about rules and regulations.
And what about the other side of it is too? Like if you're not going to your mouth, is sweat involved in this as well? Because that's another form of the tackiness.
Because I take the hat off. When I pitch, I take the hat off, run it through my hair, pull it back
through your
on,
pomade hair,
through my pomaded hair to get some grip. A little cheating here and there. A little bit of Astros curveballs in there. You mix them up a little bit. So I mean, I just want to talk about the wet rag rule real quick. All right. So the rule is, in order to avoid licking your fingers to grip a baseball, is you can carry a wet rag in the back of your pocket. And I just feel like that leaves so much room for shenanigans. And that's something that we talked to Ross about.
Someone say shenanigans?
You say shenanigans? I mean, you can put stuff onto your wet rag, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden your wet rag becomes a sticky rag and then the game changes a little bit of grip there. And umpires don't know what they're supposed to be looking out for anymore. And you're not supposed to be within 6 feet of them. So
I think you put that idea though a little bit into Ross's head. So we're going to play a little bit of, I call this Rossin bag. Yeah, it's a Rossin bag. You guys get it?
Playing on the subject of just kind of rule changes and stuff like that. I know for pitchers, things are going to get a little bit weird. I think have you read any of the packet that they sent out? Has it gotten to players yet at all?
Yeah, I've dove into it. I mean, one of them's like 110 pages,
right.
So I definitely went through the Cliff Notes version of it that they sent to us a little bit more. But yeah, I've dove through most of it.
So part of it, I think, is pitchers taking their own rosin bags to the mound and things like that. Not licking your fingers, keeping a wet rag in the back of your pocket, which I think for me was very interesting. I mean, do you think that kind of leaves some room for shenanigans for something like that? Because umpires are always looking for pitchers going to their gloves or somewhere weird on the back of their head or something like that. But when you have something that's allowed, like a wet rag, kind of hard to more difficult to look for stuff, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, theoretically, for sure. I'm certainly not gonna claim that guys are gonna do it, but I guess it, just logically leaves the door open for something goofy to happen. You don't hear of guys really like using, sandpaper back in the day, right, or spitballs and all that kind of stuff. Now it's, really just gotta, whatever can create a little bit of tack so that you at least feel the ball. And usually that's rosin. So now we'll each have our own bag. You run out there and you'll probably spike it onto the rubber and be like, let's go.
So, one of the comments here, Katie says, Brooke just gave the Astros another idea on how to cheat.
I'm actually being paid by them. to come up with ideas.
I knew it. I knew you were a scab.
Listen, if Scott Boras wants to pay me to release news to help his players, I am available and I am willing to tweet at his request.
Why would he need you? He already has Heyman in his pocket.
Well, just in case Heyman dies or something like that.
Oh,
or gets caught.
The new John Heyman here,
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Karen, I think, said it on here. She said they could let the umpires give the pitchers the wet rag, and then that way they know what's on it. But then an umpire would have to have like a bunch of wet rags on them all the time.
So yeah, I mean they have room. You know, they have the first tier of baseballs.
Yeah. But also that doesn't really that kind of negates the whole person to person contact thing. When you got somebody handing you a wet rag that was just in their pocket for the whole game, you're like, here it is. It's a little dirty.
Michael here, you got something else?
Go ahead.
Okay, Michael says, I'm ashamed that baseball and tradition are being dumbed down for millennial generations. And I don't think that's a shot at millennials. It's not because of millennials. It just sucks that the younger generation, this is the game they're stuck with. And surely there are positives of the modern game. I think, the fly ball revolution does lead to some kind of fun. It's not just, if you throw back 15, 20 years, Cody Bellinger is probably not a slugger. If it's not for that particular swing.
I'm okay with changing up the game to not to appease new fans. That's not how I mean it. But baseball needs a jolt. Baseball's viewership is diving off like nobody's business. I know we're in LA, so we're a little bit more spoiled, and we have a team that averages the highest attendance in baseball for the past like 7 years or something like that. And in terms of viewership, even with a crappy TV contract for the past couple of years, we're still very high up on the viewership list. But around the world or around the country, man, baseball is a struggling sport. The teams are not doing well, do not have any there's no reason that the Tampa Bay Rays should be like a perennial playoff caliber team and have the average attendance of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. It doesn't add up. It's not right. So there's something missing from baseball right now, and it's not attractive to fans, and it's not attractive to younger generations. No. So we're losing these old farts that don't want the game to change, and then no one's replacing them. So if you have to put mics on the players to make it a little more entertaining and get people's attention, if you got to speed up the game a little bit to make sure that we're not going 12 hours in a game, I'm fine with it, man. We need fans, and I want people to love the game like I love the game. And so if that means changing things up, I'm all for it. I hated the replay rule when it came to baseball. Hated it so much. I love the human element of baseball, and I still don't like how long it takes. I still don't like that it takes away from the game at times, but ultimately, it works.
I mean, that time added is almost just like, you ever watch a game from the 70s and 80s, like how long the pitchers take between pitches?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It is terrible.
Like you just see Steve Sachs just in the box, just like whipping his bat and like, please just throw me the fucking ball already. Goddamn.
Just like, I'm getting tired.
I could understand, like, it was then. Those were different times. But nowadays definitely would not work. And it's not just the air quote millennial crowd or whatever's supposed to be coming after us. Was that Jen? I don't know. Zed. Hi Zed. Shout out.
Zedward.
It wouldn't last even amongst the old school people who grew up watching that. I don't know. And again, it's one man's opinion. Everybody's going to have a different.
Stupid man. John over on Facebook says, "I'm an old fart and damn proud of it." You be proud of that, John. You be proud of that.
Yeah,
of course.
John's talking about the participation trophies. I would say any award that's given out this shortened 60-game season is a participation trophy. Like, you're gonna have a 6-1 record and Jacob deGrom's third straight Cy Young Award. Hell yeah!
I mean, Kershaw's gonna start 12 games. I mean, you got the opportunity for guys to go like 9-0 or something ridiculous like that. So it's gonna be a weird year.
Ricky Bobby Trio says Angel Hernandez loves replay. He gets the calls right eventually. Hey, because he's shitty at his job.
He's
guys.
Bad umpire.
The last point about these new rules and new things before we kind of get into the real life concerns, extra innings talk as we do have on the rules with the Z there. Extra innings is going to have runners starting at second base in the 10th inning of a tie game, and that rule, thank God, would not apply in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm glad they figured that one out.
This is currently in the minor leagues. It is enacted in some minor leagues. I don't know if it's in every tier of minor league. So I guess we got to get maybe a DJ DJ Peters on the show.
I think it's just
something.
single A and double A. It's not in triple A.
All right, so we can get John Rooney, who's crushing the game on social media. But what are your immediate takeaways, or what were your immediate takeaways upon seeing that stupid rule? As I lead the witness by saying that stupid rule.
Thank you, appreciate it. That's a little.
What do you think about your murdering wife? Why would that? Who would say that? Murdering wife? Why would the dead guy be on the stand, Brooke?
That makes sense. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you threw a pen. We haven't done that in like a year. Throwing pens now. Here's the deal. If you guys play slow pitch softball anymore in any type of beer league, we have a thing called California tiebreakers in California, and that's exactly what it is. The last out from the last inning has to be the runner on second base. Usually there's one out, though. They usually just automatically add on one out.
That I'm okay with.
Yeah, that's fine. They don't seem to be doing that in Major League Baseball. There's nobody out. So basically what's going to happen is every first batter of the inning is going to attempt a bunt.
Yep.
Every single time. And then you're probably just going to find a way to force a fly ball or force a hard ground ball up the middle or something like that. So it's not good, but
and with expanded rosters, what are you going to have? Like a designated bunter?
Terrence Gore.
Well, yeah, you got the speedy guy.
Also, there's the whole conversation of like, are you allowed to substitute that runner because you are allowed to pinch run? Which it sounds like yes, you can do that. But then obviously that player has to come out of the game, so you sacrifice a little bit. But who knows, man? There's a lot of different things that they could have done. I feel like there's a lot of different directions that they could go. I think the biggest problem that I have is in 50% of minor league games that go to extra innings, before they tested it, those ones were resolved by the end of the 10th inning. So 50%. That it only jumped up to like 73% when they added the rule. So it's not a huge jump in terms of the game ending sooner. It's not that much of a jump. 20% is decent, but it's also not like a otherworldly, like this definitely ends game sooner 100%. So that's the problem I have with it. I think there were a lot of other solutions that I saw to it. You talked about the home run derby side of it, which I think Alex Wood and Justin Turner talked about it actually like 2 months ago.
Well, yeah, he was the one who kind of grandfathered that thing, and that's not an old people joke because he's old.
He old farted that thing.
Why not just have the derby off instead? Because if you're going to start an inning with a runner on second and no out, again, it's going to be a bunt and a sac fly, and I'll be I don't know if it's a homer here. I'll be worried about my team knowing that they're god awful at getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out. The Dodgers are absolute trash, so you're going to lose those type of games.
Let's just chalk up all extra innings as losses.
But with that, like, how boring is that as a walk-off, especially if it's not like earned? If you get that leadoff runner off, you earn it as a walk or a hit or a hit by pitch, whatever. It's a little bit better. It's more exciting. Well, it's a lot of bit better because you earned that. Not somebody's at second. You already have more than half of the work done. There's no out. You have to bunt them over and then try to sac fly. That if you're trying to get fans into the game and you're trying to keep fans in the game and you don't want to give them or gift them MLB TV, and even if you did, they probably can't watch in-market games because MLB sucks about that.
Throw your pen again.
It wasn't a good pen. I was not a big fan of that pen. But instead, Emmett says it perfectly. I wish they were doing the swing off. Now, imagining this. So you're trying to sell your game. You're trying to make the younger generation, these millennials or Gen Z or whatever. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
I don't know where we are.
I'm an old fart, but that's exciting TV. The derby off. You make it like a 2-minute long derby. It's not by pitch. It's not 10 pitches. It's more of the modern derby, which I think has done really well. Jock and Vlad Jr. going at it, but each team would designate a batter for that 2-minute thing, and then boom, you have an actual walk off or a jock off, because we know Jock and Thump in BP. That's fun. That's exciting baseball if you're trying to end it. But I probably wouldn't do it in the 10th inning, maybe 12th inning.
That's good. I'm down with that. I don't hate it. It's like a what does NHL do? 2 overtimes or 3 overtimes and then a shootout and something like that. That'd be the equivalent of a shootout. Like that's what it would be. And I'm fine with it. I don't hate that idea. John brings up a good point too. He's like, go ahead with the runner on second, but the first batter starts with a 1-1 count. You cut down the bunt attempts a little bit. You force the issue a little bit.
I think
I would say add the 1 out and the 1-1 count really forces the issue. Like you gotta still hit. But I think that also doesn't really solve the problem as much. I think if you're going from 50% to 70 something percent, I think it probably cuts back to like 55 to 60%. So it doesn't super solve the problem. At the end of the day, they're looking to get games over with, and that's all it really amounts to. And they get them over with quick because they got to keep people healthy. They got to make sure guys are on the field for the next day. It's 60 games in 66 days. I get what they're trying to do. Might as well have just done the Derby.
You sign up to play baseball. You know there's inherent risk. You know you could blow out your elbow. You know you could twist your ankle. You know you could run into a pothole in the outfield and whatever.
Got potholes in the outfield?
I don't know. I mean, LA seems to throw their money in the wrong things.
That's true.
It's just, they can do better. MLB, do better.
I just like to think of like a scenario where it sets up perfectly, where it's like runner on second, and then you get like your big DH that's never bunted in his life, and you're like, well, I guess we're swinging away here.
Yeah. You get Juan Uribe going up there for the bunt.
Hell yeah. We all know how that goes.
Yeah, it's a stupid rule. That's it.
That's all you have to say about that one.
So all of that, everything we've said is fine and dandy. We know baseball is back on paper. That doesn't necessarily mean that in the grand scheme of things, baseball will make it back.
We're getting sad, I see.
Like, the real question is, it might be a 50-50 shot that they make it through spring training if the COVID, if the Rona attacks, if Lady Rona comes and attacks all these baseball players.
Right.
You know, we already have the most high-profile player now has been Charlie Blackmon, so that happened on the day that baseball came back. But will they actually make it through spring training 2.0? It seems like they have things in place. I don't think baseball, with as much of a PR disaster they've already gone through, if they do all that just to pull the plug like relatively quickly 2 weeks in, their baseball can't. I don't know if it can come back from that. I mean, stupid assholes like us would come back to it because
we're dumb.
Yeah.
I will say though that obviously Blackmon the results already came out. Everybody knows about that. I'm going to tell you right now, over the next 2 weeks, you're going to hear a lot of players that have it. Basketball's going through a similar thing right now where they just established their agreement. They're getting geared up to go into camps and things like that. So players are being tested now. I think the Raptors are the first team to enter the Florida bubble, if you want to call it like that. So they're all getting tested.
So bad to have it in Florida.
It's a bad place for it. But with that in mind, there are no protocols in place right now. So players have kind of been doing whatever the hell they want for the past 2 months. There's no testing that's needed to be done. Even guys who have come back to stadiums and facilities haven't been tested. There's been no like, hey, once you're in, stay in here. We're going to test you. It's been a, hey, come work out and leave and work out and leave. If you don't feel well, we'll test you. There's going to be protocols in place now. So as these guys are coming into their camps, they're going to be tested. There's a whole series of tests that they have to go through even before they physically in person come to take their test. There's a whole questionnaire that they have to fill out. So they're going to, over the next week, by July 1st, I think we're going to hear of like 50 high profile MLB athletes that are tested positive. I would not worry about it.
No.
Don't stress about it yet. You want to really stress about it when you start seeing those during the season. When that happens during the season, yeah, we're screwed. That means they screwed something up. Their policy wasn't good. They didn't stick to their testing policy like they said they would. So expect a lot over the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be okay. That's fine. It's expected. I think MLB planned for that. Just
like we are in real life right now. We're putting a lot of faith in other people. You could be somebody that's smart enough to wear your mask, or you could
do everything right.
Everything right. It just takes one asshole to come into your path. Or you've seen like the dumb bitch who like coughed in a baby's face or whatever. It takes just straight up pricks or assholes, or just people that are too ignorant or too assholey to want to adhere to it. Maybe, we don't know. I'm not a Dr. Scientist man here, but we don't know how real it is. It seems to be pretty damn real. We can't do it like Jose Rod says here in jest, where if we just not test, it's not going to be there. Yeah, sure, that's the way.
If you don't test, it doesn't happen. Just like same thing with pregnancy. Like if you don't test for pregnancy, then you can't get pregnant. EK says he brings up a good point. Kind of, he says, who are you most? I think what he's asking is like, who on the Dodgers is a high risk? And if you're looking at it, Kenley, like he says, pops to mind. Kenley has the heart condition. Kenley is definitely at risk for more severe complications from the coronavirus if you were to catch it. Doc, Doc's a cancer patient.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone through it. He's got a really low immune system. Or
Joe
weak
Kelly
immune system. Joe Kelly
had that whole body itis at the end of last year.
He's got the pain aches. There's a couple guys on those teams that you really got to look out for, and I think that's true across Major League Baseball.
But
not even just
team.
with players, not even just with players, like players' families. You know, you got a lot of guys who their wives or something like that have underlying conditions. Their kids have underlying conditions. Avery Bradley of the Lakers just said, "Hey, like I'm not playing this season. My kid has a respiratory illness, and I can't put him at risk like that. It's not worth it." And that's a guy who almost 100% was going to win a championship during this.
Yeah.
Pretty much a guarantee the Lakers were going to win a championship. And now, you know, it changes things a little bit. Who knows if we're even going to get to watch the NBA playoffs finish, because for some reason they said, let's do this in Florida. I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. We're going to stay on that one for a little bit. But there's definitely a real possibility that there are complications this year. And that's something that we got to be prepared for. I talked about it yesterday where I was like, we could get through the entire season and have no problem, or we could get through 15 games and be shut down. We just never know. But ultimately, I'm thankful. I'm happy where we are. I'm happy that we at least have signs that baseball's coming back. I'm happy there's at least effort that baseball's coming back. It would be very bad for baseball if they pulled the plug on it like pretty soon.
We're going to have two half spring trainings of baseball, and that
both shut down during spring.
At least you and I saw Mookie Betts in a Dodger uniform in a game.
How many of you can say that, huh?
That's right. In
There's
your
only
face.
been like 30 of us.
At us.
And he flew out 3 times.
Yeah, it
was not a good day for him.
One of the so we did. I think we kind of teased at it, like the high risk players. Who are the high risk players? AJ Pollock and you stand. I guess it's reasonable to say. I can't think. I don't know how to phrase this right, but you feel like he's the most likely of any Dodger to be the guy to sit out.
I think
as part of the high risk players who sit out the season will be paid and receive service time. I don't know if he's considered high risk just because he's glass and his elbow decided to fall apart last year.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's high risk.
I know that it is inclusive of family members.
Not the paid and service time. Though.
Right. So that is only applicable to that's not. It is applicable to players.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, to players, but not their families.
No, not families. Yeah. No. So, I mean, dude, I look at AJ Pollock, and you know, you look at his daughter who was just born, and she's obviously premature, and she's still going through it right now. If that dude decided to sit out, I don't think anybody could fault him in baseball. There's always dicks that are gonna, you know, just be dicks always in their life, so that's fine. They can be that. But you know, people have said Mike Trout might not play baseball this year, and that's a real possibility. His wife is pregnant. I don't know what kind of chances he wants to take with it, especially your kid, man. We don't have kids, so we don't really even know, but I can only imagine what kind of thing you would have to go through and try to make. I talked about Joe Kelly today when he was like saying like, hey, I might not, I consider not playing, but I am going to play. Yeah. I would hate to have to make that decision. Like that's a tough decision to make. I don't care who you are. That is a tough decision. Like you're putting your family at risk, but also I want to play baseball, but also like how I make my money, but also I don't want them to die. Like there's a lot to go through, man. So I feel for these players this year. It's a weird freaking season overall. Like just mix in every single thing that's gone on. It's just a weird season.
Yeah. So with that, I guess dig into a couple comments before the final section of the show.
Lee says chances Dodgers versus Astros will have fighting. Well, fighting is not allowed per the rule book.
Yeah.
So
you get suspended for fighting.
You get suspended.
So we had actually today, Kenley went on AM 570 or whatever and said that it would be he's not a fan of the idea of throwing at any Astros. Is that what it was? He
was like, we'll take care of that on the field.
As were Ross Stripling in our call, and anybody, we'd appreciate it if you would listen to and watch the video that comes out tomorrow, Thursday, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. He said the clubhouse is pretty much of the mindset that it will take care of itself on the field. You know,
whatever that means.
Whatever that means. I see that as a two-seamer gently gliding into Carlos Correa's ribs.
It's definitely Correa, by the way.
Yeah.
It is 100% Carlos Correa. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know people are like, Altuve deserves to get drilled. 100%. But he didn't really say anything to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Correa said way too much to the Dodgers.
On the list, what is it? So top three, it's Correa, Bregman, and I guess it can't be
Reddick.
Verlander. Reddick. I don't know. Like, he's already disabled, like, with his bat.
Yeah, he did that to himself. He handicapped himself on that one because he's not a ball player. He's about as much as a World Series champion as Aubrey Huff is a World Series champion. So I did compare those guys just now.
God damn it, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Everybody, come on. Mash that heart button,
Studio
fam
audience.
squad. There's nobody in
It's
here.
just us. It's just us too.
That's the whole idea of this. But when the schedule does come out, and when we find out how many games and whether or not the Dodgers actually are playing the Astros, which it seems like we are, probably because of the whole AL West or same divisional opponent. When that happens, we'll bring in. I think we got to bring in our favorite Astros fan, Mr. Cooper Searles. So we'll have both in a few weeks potentially. Well, he's pretty much like an admitted Dodger fan now. But if you grow up an Astros fan, that's on you, friend.
Yeah, but his friend is on the Dodgers, so it's like,
yeah,
you kind of have
right?
to. You kind of have to switch your
homer.
allegiance. I don't know. If my friend was on the Giants, I probably wouldn't be a Giants fan unless he put me on his podcast.
So, a couple of things, like real quickly, a couple of things that we want to change, or that we would like to change, we'd like to see. I really liked. I don't think he's working anymore, but either current or former baseball scribe Doug Padilla on the internet, he said West Coast games should start at 6 p.m. There's not going to be fans. Why the hell have the game at 6?
I just want to go
at 7. There's no reason.
I just want to go to bed at a reasonable time. You feel? Hey,
Think about Gail again. Damn it,
Yeah.
she lives in Canada, eh?
Yeah, Canada's got a different time or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're on the East Coast and you're a Dodger fan, I spent like a week in on the East Coast, like sometime last year or the year before that or something like that. It's a freaking struggle to stay up and watch Dodger games when you're 3 hours ahead. When you got a 10 o'clock start time and you're like, all right, we might go 3 hours, and you're like, oh man, baseball's really taking it out of me. So, dude, start at 6:30. It's not like we're gonna be late because of traffic to the game or whatever. Well, let's do it.
Yeah, the players are excited. Per Ross Stripling, they're the one thing they're excited about with no fans is that there's going to be no traffic. They're going to be able to get out of the stadium. Imagine
they're going to do donuts in the parking lot on the way out.
I've done that there. It's a lot of fun. One of the things that was pitched on Twitter last night, and Alex Wood got into the fray a little bit. I know it came from somewhere else, but Dodgers Beat was the ones that was pretty high on it. The idea of drive-in baseball at Dodger Stadium, and it's not like drive up to the ballpark. You
like
baseball.
Drive to a screen?
I guess I don't understand the logistics behind that. It's like it's one of those things you say and you think it sounds good and it does seem
like
good, but then there's like. It's Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Let's plan a party, but
how,
here's cheese on bread.
What is that called?
And
There's
no
other big sports, not really baseball, but during like big playoffs, they put big TV screens outside of the stadium during away games.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I think it's the equivalent, except you just drive up in your car and there they are.
Well,
on
I mean,
the TV.
some spots even do it where on the away games they let fans into the stadium and they could watch it from there. Or
we can't do that obviously because social distancing and all that. But I'm not down. I'm not down, actually. No, I'm not down. I'm just going to stay at home and watch the game.
But beyond that, there would need to be heavy protocols on making sure people don't get out of their cars. Where do you go to the bathroom?
In the car.
How do you hear the game?
In the car. You go to a special audio channel.
I'm not listening to AM 570.
I'm not either. That's why you got to set
LA
up the
Sports
specific
Radio
channel, and it'll be me and you broadcasting it.
Only if SA does it. Each batter walks up and just like, hey, why do you hate me?
Here comes Jock Pearson. Yeah, he doesn't like me.
Plus, the idea of that, they're gonna sell tickets to anybody that would go into a parking lot, the Dodger Stadium parking lot in this example, because that's the only way I see it is at Dodger Stadium. If you're doing that, and it's like a drive-in movie theater, and they just have some big screen on a delay, and you hear the music, and then you see the music way later or whatever the hell it is. But the idea of putting any money in Frank McCourt's pocket, I'm not down. We'll never do that.
Sir.
To not be in the ballpark.
No, sir. You don't get my money, Frankie.
So the biggest thing I had, and you can make up your own. This was my personal one. The families are going to be around. The families obviously you want to try to mitigate, you want to try to limit the amount of people that are going to be in and around the ballpark. They have tier systems, tier 1, tier 2, all that. Tier 1 people or anybody that would be on the field or have direct contact with the players. So they have, I think, everybody has pretty strict rules, but
yep.
All the tiers. But my thing is let the wags in, let the wives and or girlfriends or both in to be the fan base's cheering
Is that
section.
what WAG stands for?
Yeah, wives
never
and
knew that.
girlfriends. Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
We talked about this with Jessica Beatty.
It's kind of not very progressive.
I asked Jessica that, and
it sounds
like
derogatory. It's not.
Yeah, that's why I was like, is there any offense to that particular term? And no, they at least in her eyes, and probably in the eyes of many of the Dodger wives and or girlfriends, wags, wives and girlfriends, seems to be okay.
Well, there you go. So that you want them to make up the fan base?
Let them make up both teams. Fan bases, it's not just the home crowd. Like if there's other travelers,
you gotta space them out though. Like
space them out, yeah.
You got Jessica Beatty in left field by herself.
Well, I don't, maybe not that far, but like they could make
around the back.
They could make up like the Dodger wives and girlfriends will be on the left field side behind the dugout in the load section, and then the bad guys, and that's the sun field too in right field.
Put their women in there, and then they get sunburned.
Yeah, take that, San Francisco Giant wives and girlfriends. It's going to be interesting when Andrea's over there, Puig's wife.
Oh yeah,
Puig's missus.
Yeah. Which one?
Too real.
Yeah, we're talking about things that. What are we talking about? Things that we could change. Things that we could do.
Yeah. What would you want to change, or what would make it slightly more better as the kid?
I don't know. So the whole mic'd up thing still hasn't really been addressed. They haven't really said anything about that yet, and so it leads me to believe that it's not part of it, because that's a pretty important part if you're a player. Yeah. Like you're going to want to know that, but I haven't heard any of them say that. But I mean, ever since they debuted it during the All-Star game, I've really been on board with that.
It's
like
great.
It's very entertaining. Like even in
spring training, it was great.
Yeah, when he had like Chris Bryant, when he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," it's super entertaining. Like it really gets me involved in the game. And
Freddie Freeman is like, "Oh son, I'm going, I'm going,"
and you just hear him like chugging around the bases. So I really think Major League Baseball needs to make that happen. I think they're really missing out if they don't make that happen. But I mean, in addition to that, I think you're right. You got to do something to fill the stands. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they have the opportunity to get very creative with it. You could be like, is it Japan where they put the stuffed animals, or was that the Korean League? One of the leagues put all the stuffed animals in, and they got like the SpongeBob bar at home plate. It just looks terrifying.
Shout out to SpongeBob.
But there's just so many things that you can do. I mean, I imagine somebody asked earlier in the stream, is Dieter Rule going to be there? And that was a question that we had both had. It was like, we think he's going to be there, but we also have no confirmation of that. Because is the organist for essential? Is it for fans at the game, or is the organist for the TV? It's more for fans at the game. There's nobody at the game.
It's for the crowd. Obviously, all of that is crowd entertainment and all that kind of stuff. But you got to figure the players got to get hyped up.
So with that in mind, I'm like, what are they going to do? Are they going to pump it through the audio system of the TV rather than just blaring it through the stadium, and you just happen to catch that background noise? Or I don't know. It would be
the background noise, because that's what the Dodgers have already done.
There's going to be no sound, so like there's not going to be any sound now, like at the game. I mean, there's going to be the people who are allowed to be there, but that's about it.
I think a lot of that is going to be sort of team by team. It's at their own discretion who they want to bring in, who they can. Or how they want to deliver their product to the fan base. I'm sure we're going to find a lot more about that in the next few days to a week. The minor logistics of, is Dieter Rule going to be there playing the organ? Is DJ Severe?
There's a lot of little things, guys.
You would think
a lot of little things.
Bare minimum DJ Severe is going to be there, because
hell yeah, he's going to be there. He's got his new speaker system.
Hell yeah,
he's pumped about that.
Yeah,
I think he's been there like a lot of days this past couple of weeks. I've seen him posting stuff. I think he is hyped.
Yeah, those speakers.
I think he supervised when they were putting them in. Like he showed up at the stadium just to watch them.
Like, no, a little to the left. I know my shit. Shout out DJ Severe. So those are some of the things. I saw one here I liked. I think it was John. Let me find it. I ask. No, not you. Well, I asked that Smart and Final does have Dodger Dogs, so that's a little bit of a help. But John, back in the stream, he called himself Old Fogey or something like that. Old fart. John Aston, appreciate this comment. It says DoorDash should deliver Dodger dogs for free. I'm on board for that. Let's add that to the rules and regulations here for this fine sport game match.
Hell yeah.
Do that.
Do whatever.
Anyways, final thoughts. One last note for the show. I ran a poll for Brooks Mustache. Mm-hmm. I know everybody's very I don't know how your mustache essentially replaced Gary while he's out in
we should have got its own box and then we could have like put it down there.
He took all the other cameras, so I can't. Well, I guess I can get we have like the handy cams or the small webcams, so we can just zoom in on your mustache. We can have mustache cam. Anyways, the mustache, that's the big question, guys. We're trying to figure out. I guess we're not going to have the answer here at the end of this show, but the vote says that between the options of keeping the mustache, or it coming off, I should say, July 1st or July 24th, or keeping it, an overwhelming majority, I'm going to say, says that you need to keep your mustache. And there are a lot of comments that say you need to keep your mustache.
It's a 45% vote in favor of just keeping it.
I saw your friend going off on you, saying that they haven't seen it in person, and I agree with that sentiment. It's coming in a little bit more.
A lot of people that really hate it, but some people that are
the people that know you because they know you as
no mustache.
No mustache.
I saw a video of, or somebody posted the one where I'm doing this today.
It was Katie, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't have a mustache in it, and I looked weird. I didn't like me.
Yeah. I mean, TBH. I think by now the mustache is a better look, and that's me being here up close, it's stringy.
It used to curl down, and then I trimmed that straight across. So that is.
Is it because the itchy and like the pokey, or it's
especially when you're wearing a mask. Woof.
Oh, my buddy had a full ass blown beard, and he had to get rid of it because mask.
Cooper said keep it. So if Cooper told me to keep it, then I'm pretty sure I have to keep it.
He said keep it, coward.
He did say keep it, coward.
One of our fine contributors here at DodgersNation.com, Eric Ulau, says, with great mustache comes great responsibility. These are things you got to consider.
I don't know what that means.
There's so many great ones. Tim says they need to play an actionable game before you get rid of your mustache.
Before I'm allowed to.
That would be on the 24th. But again, then we get into that conundrum of if they win, now you have to keep it because the only reason they won is because of your mustache.
Because of my mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I usually get blamed for losses, though.
Yeah, this is true. Maybe the mustache will be changing your favor.
Reverse luck.
You can go to games again
just
and
me?
They won't lose. Yeah.
just me.
It's you in right field. Hold on, wait, I can do this. Woo! I think that works.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you in right
field.
Scared
the kids outside.
I think we have upstairs neighbors. Crap, I saw a good one. Santiago, which I think didn't Santiago make us something and we got to put
the
it
3D
in
thing. I think Gary has it.
Gary stole it. I know where you live, Gary. God. Anyway, Santiago says
the mustache blue.
Shave it before the first game, which is good. He also says if you don't shave it, add a soul patch or grow a Fu Manchu, which I don't think you can.
I don't think I'm capable. I think I could add a soul patch though.
But Big Steve,
flavor saver,
dye the mustache blue. I don't know. I think we have a winner.
Somebody already does that. They got a guy for that.
Okay. Well, if you're going to shave it, and you're going to get rid of it, and you're going to break all of these people's hearts. You over here, mid-20s heartthrob amongst women and fellas.
Right. Especially fellas.
You need to dye it first before you cut it.
But then it doesn't stain your lip.
These are the rules.
And then I shave it, and
then it just looks like you had an icy or the far superior Slurpee.
Okay, Cammy says don't shave it too. There's a lot of people that say don't shave it. I mean,
sorry, Mrs. Brooke.
I know Santiago's not a fan of it, and that's all that really matters. So might be the deciding factor there.
Let's see. Second base girls, Diamond and Bren say you got to do it before a win, otherwise it's gonna. They're the ones who said it. They're gonna have to keep it the whole season. So yeah, Superstition 101. So. Yeah, you might have to cut it.
Well, guys, we're going to update you on that because we don't know where we're at. I think it's too much a part of me now to let go, so that might be where we are for a little while.
Mrs. Me 3, I'm literally so mad. I'm sorry. We tried to make this as democratic as possible.
The fans have spoken.
Chris says don't shave it.
Another one?
Mm-hmm. Hamilton wants to make a Seager struggle shave bet.
Ooh, if Seager struggles, I have to shave?
I think you have to keep it if he struggles.
Hamilton, please clarify.
Clarify. We'll wait.
We will wait. How are you guys today? Sports from Coast to Coast says shave it. This is becoming a real life segment on our show, which we did not plan for, but we are talking.
I mean, I semi-planned for it, but not really. I planned for it with this particular poll.
We did not plan for it this much. There's not really any good mustaches in baseball right now, so like, there's not really anything to compare it to because they stopped doing baseball mustaches.
Chris Megnan?
Oh,
is it Chris?
He's not a real baseball player.
Oh, because he's an athletic. I get it.
Yeah.
Too many people are telling you to keep it. And they make up a good amount of our friends of the show that we like. So I think you got to keep it. Sorry, Mrs. Me3. Them's the rules.
If he struggles, I keep it.
There it is.
Okay.
We know. So until then, he's going to keep it. And you can find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are a podcast, and we are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, everywhere podcasts are available. And if you don't like that, you could also see us in flesh, but not really, on YouTube at youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Subscribe there. Hit that notification bell. You might enjoy it.
You might enjoy it. Guys, I am Mustache. This guy over here is at RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. We're at Dodger Nation on Twitter, at Official Dodger Nation on Instagram. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to everything that we have because we're the best around and you want to support us because you love us and you love our mustaches. So, guys, thank you for being here. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your concern. Baseball is back. And we'll see you
next Monday. Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.